So corporate media is in a bit of a quandary. They don't know how to define Kamala Harris. Now, earlier on this show, I talked about how corporate media is concerned about black voters. But see, when asked by female Trump voters to weigh in on Kamala Harris, oh my goodness gracious Cretaceous, corporate media doesn't even know how to answer it. They don't even know how to respond to it. Because people have opinions about Kamala, and she doesn't have what it takes.
Do you think that having Vice President Kamala Harris as the nominee dramatically changes Donald Trump's odds of winning?
I'm worried about it.
Yes. I think she's going to go for the minority and female and younger voters.
Don't worry, Trump ladies. Nobody who's young or anyone of real grit are going to support Kamala. All right. They're going to try and they're going to fail.
Progressive. Everybody's excited about her. Right. And that scares me. Right. You know, because Trump has to reconfigure where he's going and how they're going to outsmart her.
How do you perceive Vice President Harris compared to President Biden in terms of competency and experience?
I think she's worse. She doesn't even know what's going on at the border.
Right.
And that's what she was
supposed to be doing
and in charge of. I mean, as a school teacher, if I did not do what I was supposed to be doing, you better believe my job would be in jeopardy. Well, it isn't. It not only was her job not in jeopardy, she was just handed a promotion.
Is there anyone that Kamala Harris could appoint as her vice president that you would find reassuring, would make you consider voting for her?
No.
Never considered voting for her. No.
I would know RFK Jr. way before that.
So that's what they're feeling about, especially for Trump support. But see, the thing is now, corporate media still can't define her. Now, Fox News, you know, I got to get on a panel for Fox News. I got to correct these people someday.
But the reason that she imploded in 2020 wasn't just bad campaigning. She went to the left of Bernie Sanders on everything. She raised her hand for Medicare for all.
Hold on. Whoa. See, right there. Fox News, what are you doing? Left of Bernie Sanders. You have me defending Bernie Sanders. Anything that she said that might have been left of Bernie Sanders, she quickly flip-flopped and backflipped and jumped and skydived and went deep diving into hell. She wanted to get away from that so fast, she time traveled to get inside the Titan sub so it can implode on her. She's not to the left of Bernie, Fox News.
She was explicitly calling to eliminate private health insurance. She wanted every terrible Green New Deal policy. She was for wide open borders, all of it. So that was one of the reasons that her campaign imploded.
No, goof troop. See, this is why corporate media, they're given scripts and these people don't know what they're doing. The reason why her campaign went belly up is because 1, it went broke. 2, horribly managed. 3, she got decimated by Tulsi Gabbard. And 4, voters weren't impressed with her because she was a mediocre, subpar, horrible presidential candidate. She was worthless. That's why her campaign went belly up. Not because, she's to the left of Bernie Sanders. My ass.
And I get the urge to put her back in the prosecutor column because it's better than her VP column. And one of the ways that she could have shown that she is ready to be commander-in-chief, the first test, are you willing to go and be there for the Prime Minister of Israel's speech to Congress as they still have American hostages in Israel, and he is coming here to give a speech to a joint session of Congress, and she's not going to show up. Yeah. Now, she's going to have a private meeting with him where there's no photograph, but why is she doing that? Because she wants to be prosecutor again? Or does she want to be commander-in-chief? I think that she's failed the first test on that point.
So, Jessica, going back on the record of Kamala Harris, which they're trying to say, as Dana points out, she almost lost the race in 2010 to a Republican in California because she was such a bad prosecutor and because she was allowing crime not to be prosecuted in the way that people really wanted. So
you do realize she kept prisoners behind bars longer than they needed to be, and also kept innocent men behind bars longer than they needed to be and that she withheld evidence of an innocent man behind in death row. Probably did that to a lot of people. Now, if you look at her track record, she was extremely brutal to a lot of people. Just throwing that out there. By the way, when it came time to deal with, high-end corporate crime, all what those guys got was a slap on the wrist. Prosecutor, you sure about that? Hell, I'm probably sure even Kamala doesn't even know that definition.
Is this really going to work given her endorsement of squad-like policy? She's basically a member of the squad just on the Senate side.
Remember this? Well, you know what? At this point, the squad and its inactivities and its indecisions and everything else, I mean, it comes as no surprise. So yeah, I'll give that a pass. She is part of the squad, the neoliberal squad.
She's not a member of the squad. She's a member of the Biden-Harris administration. She's the second most powerful person in the United States of America. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's policies are her legacy now. And that's what she'll run on. In the last block, you guys were saying that they won't want Joe out there. I completely disagree. I think that he will be all over Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Milwaukee to reassure the voters who might be pissed off that he was knifed out of top of the ticket, for instance, that actually she is completely moderate. She is in step with the things that he has done. And it's...
He's not moderate.
He's not moderate. You guys are...
How is he moderate?
Like,
give me
one. Okay, no Medicare for all.
That's not moderate.
That's because 80% of the country was against
No,
it.
but that's not fair. You're just
They want it
moving
for
the
illegal immigrants.
goalposts on it again.
No, well, let's talk about
See, again, Fox News. I understand you guys got to follow orders, but Biden, Kamala were never for Medicare for all. You know, I only could put you guys through so much abuse through corporate media. But no, she's not for Medicare for all. She's not for student debt forgiveness. See, Fox News, all what they got is Biden bad, so he's a communist. Kamala bad, so she's to the left of Bernie. And we wonder why political discourse in this country is absolute crap. Jesus Christ, Fox News. Who's writing your scripts? All right? Who's making sure the talent sounds completely like assholes, right? You can't even do your job defining who Kamala is. And even when asking voters simple questions, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, ABC, CBS, they always keep screwing it up. Case in point right here, our friends at BSDNC.
Do you think that she's going to go there on healthcare? Because during the 2020 campaign, she said she was for Medicare for all, but her policy didn't quite look that way. She wasn't getting rid of all private insurance. She didn't go as far as Bernie Sanders, but she was squishy on it. Do you expect that she's going to have to get on the record on healthcare in this campaign?
She is. And in 2020, part of the reason she didn't get off the ground was that she was constantly trying to split the baby on these questions and appeared as if she stood for nothing. Now she has a much clearer incentive to move to the middle. And
no, she didn't even do her job. Like, look, if there's one thing I'll agree with those Trump voters, those women, you know, she stands for nothing. She never did her job at the border. Any task given to her, she's failed miserably. She hemorrhaged. She started off with 47,000 people. Out of that 47,000, only 4 remained. So either A, she has high standards, and if you can't keep up with her fast-paced business, then you're out of here. Or 2, she's completely insufferable, and she's difficult to work with. I'm going to go with option B because that seems to be the running thing about Kamala and how she fails at everything that she does. Everything that she does. And she never stood for anything. Throughout the entire 2020 primary, especially way early on in 2019 when things were getting started. When asked about Medicare for all, she gave a back and forth answer. Student debt forgiveness, back and forth answer. Crisis at the border, back and forth answer. Was never consistent with anything because that's what liars do. Kamala Harris is the perfect liar. She can't tell the truth to save her life. It's an anathema to her. I mean, for Christ's sake, she said that she was that little girl on the bus. Turns out she wasn't that little girl on the bus. She said she was smoking weed, listening to Tupac Shakur. She didn't do that. You know, she said that she was in the civil rights march and trying to get free, and she was calling for freedom. And that never happened. And my goodness, first she says she's black, then she says she's Indian. You do realize that Kamala actually has a cooking YouTube channel? I kid you not. Yeah, Kamala Harris actually has a cooking YouTube channel where she's making food or baking stuff. I kid you not. It's an actual thing.
Question is whether she can seize that. One way she can do that or attempt to is by picking a running mate who balances her out. And whereas Donald Trump was super confident in doubling down when he picked a running mate that has plenty of median voter, Kamala Harris has an opportunity to try to
MSNBC had a technical error.
To move towards the middle by picking a running mate who has a more conservative set of positions. She has the opportunity to articulate her own vision in a general election campaign without having to get through a primary, which was, I think, her biggest liability or challenge 4 years ago.
That's right, because it was given to her on a silver platter. She didn't have to face a primary this time around. And look, I got a lot of liberal friends who are saying, well, there was a primary. People picked Biden, but things got complicated. No, things didn't get complicated. You had Democrats purposely become blind, become deaf, and not acknowledge Biden's decline. What happened is that we are witnessing somebody undemocratically becoming the nominee. Now, anything could happen at the DNC convention here in Chicago, but Kamala doesn't have what it takes. She can't build a coalition because she doesn't have what it takes mentally, emotionally, physically to have the coalition that we saw surround Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, or even Joe Biden. She's not charismatic enough. And remember, things were starting to look bad for Kamala way early on. So before the first primary vote happened in Iowa, those months ahead, she was already losing support among voters. And yet here we see both Fox News and corporate media fail to define to the American people who Kamala Harris is. And the reason why is because they don't know. They don't know because the people writing their scripts can't tell them that, because even they don't know. But I know this, and so do you. Kamala Harris stands for herself. She only stands for corporate money. She only stands for advancing her political career. And when faced off against competition, she will wilt and wither away. She is not consistent. She's not competent enough for the highest office of the land. And yet we are witnessing somebody basically become crowned the next Democrat nominee. Undemocratically, by the way.
About 10 seconds, but is this you saying that she needs to pick Andy Bashir?
I think Bashir offers the most ideological balance. Shapiro, however, possibly is the most able attack dog. So it depends on what she wants.
And look, those are her picks for VP. And you want to know what? Here's the thing. Out of that list of people here, maybe they could be more competent. Who knows? Maybe because Kamala, she didn't really do much as VP. And perhaps Kamala just wants to sit on her butt for the next 4 years and have her VP handle all her work. Because you have Governor Bashir, you have Pete Buttigieg, you have even Governor J.B. Pritzker, my governor. But none of these people have what it takes. See, Democrats, you have August, September, and October in 3 months to really sell Kamala. Right now, you're still in the honeymoon phase. Once we get to the end of July, the honeymoon's over. And how is Kamala going to address corporate media? How are you going to address and even covered the DNC convention here in Chicago? Already, as I covered on this show, voters, people, are being pushed aside, are being sent to areas that won't be near the United Center or McCormick Place. They're going to be out of sight, out of mind. So if you're anti-war, if you're trying to stop the genocide in Gaza, if you're for a woman's right to choose, if you're against corruption, if you're against the Democratic Party, if you are going to be protesting the DNC, you're going to be cast aside and put out of sight, out of mind. The Democrats are going to be running the show. Joe Biden is irrelevant at this point. And Kamala Harris supposedly has a red carpet being rolled in for her so that she can become the nominee. But yet, if you cannot define who a candidate is, this candidate is in trouble. So I will end this segment with a question to you, the audience. How would you define Kamala Harris's political career? There's no such thing as a wrong answer. But remember, folks, I don't want to see any comments about knee pads. That's been used far too long. But, you know, going from the bottom all the way to the top. Start from the bottom. Now they're already there. Says a lot about Kamala's political career. A lot indeed.